the video, introduce you real quick, and then we'll get into questions. Is that cool? Alright. Hi guys, I'm Jen with Happy Lil Book Nook, here with the amazing Jennifer L. Armentrout. Yay! Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
It's been a dream come true for me.
Oh, thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you.
So, I'm nervous, but I'm
Don't
very
be
excited. So the first thing I want to do is talk about Luke, because I've read the book already.
Yay!
I'm obsessed with the book. And I know he was originally in the Lux series,
Yes.
but what made you want to continue his story?
I think because when he was in the Lux series, he was significantly younger. I think he was like 13, 14. So he was a character that I could see kind of growing up in this new world where humans realize that they're not the smartest or the strongest life form in the universe. And also Luke is just a goofball. Like, you know, I think he's like the odd mixture of someone who can be hilarious one second and utterly deadly the next. And I think it's unique to see that in one character where they can be extremely funny, laid back, be the jokester in the crowd, but at the same time he's the most deadly creature amongst everyone. And I almost spoiled it for everybody. But the big reveal that happens in that book is something that I always kind of wanted to see that.
It's good. It's good.
It was so hard for me not to talk about that. I kept like, people like, read it, like, because I just want people to get to that point and be like,
it's surprising.
Yeah.
I didn't see it coming. I was like, what? But it was so good. Like, it felt so satisfying to get to that I was like, okay, this is what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
And now it's
there.
Yes. I know you bring back some of the other characters. Really briefly, you mentioned like Dee and Archer. What's going on with them? Are we ever gonna know more about them?
Yes, I can tell you. I mean, they're married. They are together, and I don't know. I thought I had written that in the last book that they were together. I guess I must have not been as clear as I thought I was. But yes, they're together, and you will see a lot more of Dee in the second book. You will see Archer. Again, you will actually see.
Thank you. Alright, so we will be seeing everybody.
Yeah, you will be seeing the remaining cast from the Lux series in the second book. You see quite a bit of them, actually, so.
That makes me very excited.
Yes.
I did read the little, bonus package story.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was a quick read because I'm like, I need more Damon and I need more Cat.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spoil that either if you haven't read it, but I love that their story was continuing in such a way that felt also very satisfying, but then kind of leading into something bigger.
Well, yeah, the package takes place actually between The Darkest Star and the second book.
Okay.
And so there's two references, if I remember correctly, in the package that is a hint to something that happens in the second book. So actually the package takes place in the same timeline as the second book. And once you read the second book, this is not really a spoiler, but it involves something Dawson sees. And because that scene, I think, if I remember correctly, he's talking about something that Dawson had witnessed.
I know they were talking about Dawson going somewhere, and he was like, I have to go because he's kind of been through a lot.
Yeah. And it's kind of giving you a little hint that something has happened. Yeah. So.
Is the second book going to be from Luke's perspective still, or is it going to be from someone else?
It's still going to be from Evie's. I doing the dual POV is always fun in the beginning, and then it becomes one of the hardest things to keep up because it's very hard to write dual POV because you need to know when to end one POV and pick up the next, that you're not rehashing. And sometimes when you do have dual POV, you're giving away too much. Because especially when people are being all secretive, you're telling me at no point you're not thinking of the big secret or something. But I like it allows me to go back and give readers bonus scenes by showing the other person's POV. So
okay, that's exciting. Is it just going to be 2 books in this, or is it going to continue on past that, or? I don't. Can I talk about that, Melissa? Am I allowed to say that on camera? Awkward moment. Right now, I think I can say. Sorry, guys, my editor's sitting directly back there. 2 for no.
An onlooker, a silent onlooker.
Well, I can say I don't think this is a big secret. I am contracted for 3 books. So if it goes beyond that, we don't know yet. I mean, that's all going to depend on, where the story takes you. I mean, because one thing I never want to do is continue a series when you should have ended the book. You know what I mean? And and another thing too is there's a lot of, I think, new characters introduced in that first book.
Oh, totally.
That could really, I mean, one of my favorite new characters I've written is Grayson. Because he's just such a jerk. He's just so bad. And he's just like, one of my favorite scenes in there is there's a fight and Luke is fighting and Grayson's just sitting there with his blow pop,
Yes.
casually just ripping it apart and and just entertained by everything around. And he's a fun character I would like to explore more.
I would like to see what he's hilarious.
Well, you actually, in the second book, you do learn a little bit more about him and his background, and I think his background will surprise a lot of readers.
It'd be interesting. I'm excited for that. Out of all the books you've written, not just in the Lux series, but who's like the character that you relate to the most and kind of has your heart the most?
That's a hard question, because I feel like every time I'm writing a book, I relate to the characters on some level. I mean, I will say that Kat will always have a special place because of her love of books. And mine, I will say Alex from The Covenant, because it's really funny when people would first start meeting me, like bloggers and readers, and they had read the Covenant series, and as they would spend more time around me, they're like, "Oh my God, you're literally Alex," because if things that will come out of my mouth, and then I was always very resistant to that, and I was like, "No, I'm not like Alex," and then I'm like, "Actually, yeah. I just have a better filter than she does." Then in my new book coming out, my next new book coming out in June, Trinity, the main character, has the same eye disease that I have. So I had to really relate to that character for me to be able to write it, for the readers to understand what it's like to have my type of vision. So I relate to her, but it's different. I had to make myself kind of become that character so I could write it in a way that you guys could understand.
That'll be interesting. I'm excited for that one. So here's kind of a random question, kind of going back to the Lux series. Do you believe that aliens are with us?
I believe that, to me, it would be insane that in a vast, never-ending universe that we are the only intelligent life form. I mean, they're already discovering, single-cell organisms and things like that. So I do think somewhere out there in the vast universe, they're out there. Yes, the truth is out there. Knowing our luck, it's probably the aliens from Independence Day or Starship Troopers. It probably is not a Luxon.
I would rather be a Luxon.
Yeah, if it'd be a Luxon, it'd be amazing.
I'd be okay with that.
It'll be like I was actually watching this show on History Channel. It's a doomsday show that goes over the 10 top ways mankind would be obliterated, and one of them was an alien invasion. And they used actual legit NASA scientists, all these people who really study this, and they had determined that the only type of life form that can make it to Earth would have to be somewhat robotic. And so their intelligence would have to be so great that they were able to create basically a Borg, half, living, half robotic, and that's what they believe, if anything could exist and make it to us, it would have to be something like that. Because of the speed and the distance that we have to travel. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Yeah, and then there was you got to watch that show. It's History Channel on demand.
That's the best stuff. So is it a belief in aliens that started this whole series, or is it something else that kind of brought it about?
I've always been a huge fan of the X-Files and things like that. The series actually started because my editor on the Lux series had asked me if I ever thought about writing about aliens in high school. And I laughed and said no, and was like, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard, and hung up the phone. And then I started thinking about it, and I was like, and I called her back. I was like, what do you mean aliens in high school? And she was just like, I just want to see aliens in high school, hot aliens in high school. So at that time, the only thing alien-wise was I Am Number 4, and that had been out for several years, and I don't even know how many books deep that was at that point. And so she was like, I just want there to be romance and be aliens. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not smart enough for real science fiction, so how much science fiction-y do we have to get here? And so I kind of came up with Kat's character first, and then Damon, and I wrote 60% of that book having no idea what the Luxons look like. But eventually I figured it out, and but it kind of stemmed from there, with somebody putting the idea of writing about aliens in my head. And it was really surprising when that book took off because I really thought no one was going to read it. I mean, Aliens in High School. I mean, trust me, whenever I have to explain this series to people, and I'm like, yes, it's Aliens in High School. Like, just get that over with and stay with me on it. But I was like, nobody's going to read this. And it was just something that I think hit at the right time. It was available. And also, you know, I've always said this before, that if the bloggers back in 2011, 2010 hadn't been so willing to take a chance on me and support me and share my books to everyone, I wouldn't be sitting here. So it's really all on them. So
that's cool. It's an amazing series. It's like always going to be one of my favorites. So that's why I'm like so curious what started it. I've got one last question for you. It's a weird one,
it's okay,
but it's my favorite question to ask. If you were a kitchen utensil, what would you be and why?
Oh my Lord.
I know it's weird, but it's an important question we need to know. Everyone's
sure the look
thinking.
on my face is so attractive right now because I'm like a can opener, a potato peeler. I'm like,
just run through all the drawers in your kitchen.
I know that's what I'm doing right now. Oh gosh. I would say a spatula.
Why?
Because I could scrape things off. Like I mean, everything I keep going through, I'm like, I was like a potato peeler, so I can cut you. Like, you know, everything just kept getting worse in my head, and so I was like, spatula. I mean, what would you be? What would you be?
I think I'd be a blend-all, because I'd like to mix things up.
Oh, yeah.
But I've had people be like sporks. There was some weird, like, it's like a bent spork type thing. It looks very intimidating. Somebody wanted to be, because it was like sharp but like multi-useful. Someone was like a turkey carver once, like one of the electric knives.
Yeah.
I've had weird, like they get really into it there.
Have you ever had one as boring as a spatula?
It's not boring. It's interesting.
I mean, but I think spatulas are multi-useful. I mean,
They
you
are.
can bake with it. You can flip with it. You can, you know, they're very adapting.
They are.
And, you know, I think I'm, as many genres as I write, I feel like I'm very adapting.
You are.
Spatulas and us, you know, we have some things in common.
I like that answer. I like it a lot. You justified it very
I know,
well,
right?
too. I like it.
I was stretching for that, but I got it.
So that's all the questions I have for
Thank
you.
you.
But thank you so much.
Thank you for
this
having me.
has been amazing. It really was incredible. So go read The Darkest Star and the Lux series if you haven't already, because it's amazing, guys.
Yes.